Andy for Last Bell Boxing, down at Alfred Leisure Centre, John Ashton Promotions, joined by the dynamic duo, the Bassets. Toby, I'll come to you first, mate. Firstly, congratulations.
Thank you very much, thank you. Thank you for coming down.
Always, mate. Always a pleasure to watch you fight. That takes you to 3-0. Yep. Tricky customer?
Yeah, tough lad. Zane Clark, thank you for even, coming to this fight, because I had 3 pullouts for this, and he was obviously my 4th opponent. Tough lad, game as you like, so he gave me a tough fight, and I need these tests now, because I've had, my first 2, don't get me wrong, they were hard fights, but, I won them comfortably, I would say. Sticky mood, and this was a tough, hard night, which I want. I want these tough fights.
I'm going to come to your dad now. There's been some dodgy decisions tonight. Was you at any time concerned that that might have been the same in this fight?
I felt like he was doing enough for it. Obviously the first couple of rounds, I wouldn't have said it went either way. I think Toby did enough. He done a better shot selection and one thing and another. Not taking anything away from Zane Clark at all. Like Toby says, it was a tough customer tonight, and he was on it. I could see Toby was holding back a little bit too much, really. He should have been working his jab a bit more, and he sort of just working those 1-2s. He wasn't really stepping in with a backhand as much as well. So I wasn't concerned about the result really after the first couple of rounds, but going into the 3rd and 4th, it just started getting a bit where I didn't really want it to be, sort of thing. But obviously he did what he needed to do. He knew that he had to step it up a bit, and that's what he did. So going forward, we're going to learn from that. Take some experience. It will take a lot from that fight. It will take a lot from Zane. He's a tough character. He's working regularly. He's a tough character, tough dude.
Toby, Zane's not your typical journeyman. He wasn't. He was coming in to win that fight. I mean, personally, I thought you won it clean sweep. The last 2 rounds, though, did you get a little bit too involved?
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's an understatement. Yeah, I got way too involved. I'll be honest. I love to have a little ding dong. It's bad. It's not a good trait, but sometimes you just got to bite down on your gum shield and say, what, fuck it. I'm not going to take a step back. I'm just going to have it out of you. But my legs were a little bit heavy, I'll be honest. My legs went a bit, they zapped after round 2 a bit. So
we had this last camp.
Yeah, we had this last camp, so maybe that's something to work on, probably more leg works and, etc. But yeah, I thought, he was on to me whole fight, and I thought, right, I'm just going to give it back to you. And it got a bit scrappy, it was a bit of a war, but look, the crowd loved it, I enjoyed it, so they got the money's worth.
Toby, that's only 3-0. Yeah. In terms of pro boxing, you're still a baby. So all of this you're talking about, your legs zapping a bit, maybe changing training, that's all part of the learning process.
I need these fights. I need to get in there and think, oh God, my legs are zapped, my shoulder's a bit aching, blah, 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 because then I can adapt to it, and then I can take something back, write it down, we can work on something back at the gym. So I'm always learning. I could win all my fights, I'll learn every single time.
Yeah, I think one thing we've got to do from now on, because obviously this is 3 fights, yeah, he's got through it, great stuff. They're going to start getting harder. By the end of the year, he could be 4 or 5 fights in. Then next year, we don't know what's going to happen, but he could be getting called up for an area title within a couple of years. And we all know what that means, more rounds, So obviously, he's going to go from his 4s to his 6s, hopefully, just progress through it nicely like that. But there's a few things we need to start tweaking now. Nutrition is going to be a big thing going forward for us. The camp's been a bit like the last one, sort of thing. He obviously walks around heavier than what he fights at, so we're always monitoring that. Sometimes he's a bit heavier than what he tells me, because he's a little shit.
Because he's a whittler.
Yeah, but we get there in the end. But for me, that's another sign to say, look, we need to sharpen up on a few things.
Yeah.
I know he could do so much better than that. And I know that it plays on his mind when when his legs are starting to go and one thing and another, it starts to play on his mind a little bit, and that affects him in the ring. Round 3, toe to toe, no need. What the fuck are you doing? Just get back on your jab. But I know what he's like. He probably, his legs were probably gone there, sort of thing, and he just needed to get back onto it. But he did that going into round 4 anyway, so all good.
Toby, the old man's your toughest critic, but keeps you on your toes, right? Keeps you straight on the straight and narrow, feet on the ground and all that.
Exactly, because if I didn't have that and I had someone saying, yeah, you smashed it.
I ain't going to blow smoke up his ass.
Yeah, but I want that, because I'll go out there and all my mates say, you smashed it, you done really well. Look, I know I've done well, but I need someone like that to tell me, look, take it down a notch. You've got this to work on now. Blah blah blah. You know, get back on it. But it's all part of it. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, his head coach, Northampton, Scott, was in the corner tonight. Fantastic to see him as the lead hand in there. That was great stuff. He was just like the old days. Like. So he knows what Toby's like. First thing he said is, don't need to talk about anything tonight, but there's obviously things to talk about and discuss going forward because you have to improve.
See, Toby, I've got a little bit of a different take on this. I think your old man's being grumpy because of that little injury that he's got. So I can't complete this interview without talking about how you ended up with that cast on your arm.
Well, I think your man is the man to ask about that, isn't it? Like, yeah, so... well, I'm not going to say much about it.
He didn't let me have ice cream, so I broke his arm. No, we're doing pads. We're doing fast pads, 20 minutes non-stop. And I just, I went for a body shot. He put his arm in the way. By accident, I just broke his arm.
Yeah, it was just, by accident. It was one of those freaky things. Like, it was just, like I say, I mean, when you're a couple of weeks out, things are getting pretty intense, like, and his mood's different and everything, like. So we're putting him in for a 20-minute round continuous, 2 or 3 coaches in there. Sticking it on in. We're obviously doing a minute each so we can get a rest, like. And I've got the body bag on like a fucking idiot, like. And my arm's dropped, and like he said, he just hit it when my arm dropped, and we both heard it snap.
Yeah,
and,
it was pretty grim.
I mean, I dropped like a pussy and rolled out of the ring, like.
Yeah, I carried on.
Yeah, yeah, we did. Yeah, carried on. Yeah.
Get up, Dad. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, exactly. Pussy.
Oh, mate, it's not my first rodeo.
Lads, as always, brilliant talking to you. Thanks for joining Last Bell Boxing. Obviously, Toby, I'm going to follow you going forward. We're always backing you. We always will do. It's a pleasure. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for the support. Thank you for everyone that came down. Thank you for, Shinfield putting on an amazing show again. And, this is just the beginning.
I'm just going to mention his sponsors because he'll forget. Like, so obviously we've got SC Travel is the main, obviously just pays for the medicals and one thing and another, so that's fantastic. He's picked up a couple of sponsors now, local, TMD Building Solutions and Elite View. So, it all helps out. And my voice is going, so I'm not going to say anymore.
Fantastic. Always great talking to you, lads, because it's a little bit of a dynamic duo, like I said earlier on. Thank you very much. Go and enjoy your fans, and I'll see you soon.